Can you make a video on Exodus 24 through 5? Sure, let's read it. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven or above, or that is on the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the father on the children to the third and to the fourth generation of those who hate me. So idolatry is one of the more important sins to God. God is a jealous God. He wants our attention. Now, God is not like a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum. Why aren't you paying attention to me? It's not like that. It's, I took the time to think you out and made you and gave you this beautiful world on which to live and enjoy, and you won't even talk to me. Wouldn't you be hurt? Those of you watching this video who have lost a child either to death or to walking away from the Lord, you understand the heartache of God more than most. God understands that idol worship is a trap set by demons and Satan and his little minions, and God doesn't want you to fall into that trap. This is also why we don't respect other religions. We respect the people in those religions, but not the religions themselves, because they are frauds, they are traps. They're meant to keep people away from God. And the foolishness of it, God even spells out in Isaiah 44. Starting in verse 12, the ironsmith takes a cutting tool and works it over the coals. He fashions it with hammers and works it with his strong arm. He becomes hungry and his strength fails. He drinks no water and is faint. The carpenter stretches a line. He marks it out with a pencil. He shapes it with planes and marks it with a compass. He straightens it into the figure of a man, with the beauty of a man to dwell in a house. He cuts down cedars, or he chooses a cypress tree or an oak tree, lets it grow strong among the trees of the forest. He plants a cedar, and the rain nourishes it. Then it becomes fuel for a man. He takes a part of it and warms himself. He kindles a fire and bakes bread. Also, he makes a god and worships it. He makes it an idol and falls down before it. Half of it he burns in the fire. Over the half he eats meat. He roasts it and is satisfied. Also, he warms himself and says, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. And the rest of it he makes into a god, his idol, and falls down to it and worships it. He prays to it and says, Deliver me, for you are my God. They know not, nor do they discern, for they have shut their eyes, so they cannot see, and their hearts, so that they cannot understand. No one considers, nor is there knowledge or discernment to say, Half of it I burned in the fire. I also baked bread on its coals. I roasted meat and have eaten. And shall I make the rest of it into abomination? Shall I fall down before a block of wood? He feeds on ashes. A deluded heart has led him astray. He cannot deliver himself or say, Is there not a lie in my right hand? It's the ludicrousness of the very thing that could have cooked more meat or kept him warm longer is the thing he worships and says, Can you give me more meat and give me more heat? It's because God has a greater perspective than we do that he hates false religions. That's why it's so important to him. So what about the part where it says visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation? Well, how does that line end? It says, of those who hate me. The sin of the fathers will stay upon the children of those who hate him because they are hating him too. That's the thing. It's the idea of it's a continual line of curse they're bringing on themselves because they refuse to see that they're worshiping a block of wood or a block of stone. It's not a real God. They'd be better off just providing for themselves. So he will allow them to have their delusion as long as they want it. But why to the third and fourth generation? Because by that point, it's no longer exciting to that generation and they just might be reachable. And so God's going to try with them. And that's why we also see the cyclical pattern in the book of Judges. They like God, then they get involved in idol worship, then they rebel against God, then they call out to God for saving, and then it happens all over again.